Hi, this is Cecilia from Tarot by Cecilia, and this is your weekly tarot guidance for the week of August 28th through September the 3rd, 2017. What's going on this week, you ask? After the last few weeks, do we even want to talk about it? This week we have Mercury retrograde continuing backward as it approaches its September 5th date of going direct, okay? So it's still going backward, and it retrogrades into the sign of Leo on the 31st. All right, so there might be some new things that come up at this time, depending upon what you've already been dealing with. And of course, by the end of the week, it will be slowing down, preparing to go direct in Leo on the 5th. That will be next week, and we'll be talking about that then. So, I'm looking at the cards here, and, I'm feeling like back, right, maybe like last week, like after we passed that total solar eclipse in Leo. That was kind of like rounding the corner and heading for home. That was the first thing that came to mind when I thought of this week. It's like we're there. It's like we're sliding, into that. It's a baseball metaphor. Okay, I think that's the right term to use there. So, that's what it's all about. We've come through so much, and we're almost there, almost home. Remember how I said when we reach September the 6th, the harvest moon, the full moon in Pisces, eclipse season will be over then, and that's where things begin to ease up. So right now, it's all about your power, okay, as you continue on. This is like it's not the easiest part of the journey, but it's definitely an interesting one. And it reminds me of when I get the sense of trying, okay, with all the change and with you trying to reclaim your power. There is, even if there's a victory in here somewhere, it's kind of that you still have a little ways to go. And that's not a bad thing. At the moment, I feel as though there is a little, I almost want to say sorrow in feeling a little bit cheated of plans, things that you thought might happen, okay? More so with relationships than with anything else. So new plans are needing to be made. There's a lot of emotion attached to this. And I think that's where the heaviness comes in. It's a heavy emotional burden that you're carrying and trying to get past it. I think that it eases up after the new moon in September, which is in Virgo on the 20th, and some of that sorrow begins to lift. So if for any reason you're feeling a heavy heart this week, you have to remember there were eclipses, and many of you have lost people who passed. I know I have. And there are others who will have people who are seemingly eclipsed from their day-to-day lives. Even like parents whose children are going off to college, that type of thing. It signifies a major moment in life. So this is kind of what everybody's carrying with them right now with regard to relationships and kind of thinking, all right, universe, where do I go from here? All right. You're going to figure it out. Like I said, I really think that you start to get back into your groove, come the new moon in September. It's going to take a full cycle getting away from that last eclipse. And not that it was bad. The eclipses actually brought many good things with them. It's just that sometimes, we have a mixed bag that's going on. However, your security, your stability, you're working on making things rock solid. I think that these eclipses have given you the impetus to push forward. Not to mention that earlier in the month, on the 4th, I believe it was, you also had Jupiter square Pluto and Uranus having retrograded on the 3rd. So there have been many catalysts for change that have taken place this month. And so I kind of feel like this week, it's just kind of that easing away from it a little bit and still, carrying the burden of the changes. It's very, very strong here. You may still be going, forward and wondering, where is this taking me? Where is my new beginning? You know, because there's some doubt, some indecision, all right, and that need to trust. I think that you're going to figure some things out this week, though, which will come as a surprise to you. Perhaps discovering options that you did not know that you had. And I think that this is a good thing. It takes some time, all right, because there's a little bit of worry about it, whatever it is that's going on. But being very involved, paying close attention to what you're doing, you know, that whole, you know how I talk about almost like having that OCD with whatever it is that comes up and not missing a single detail. It may take away from time from regular things, but it's important. This seems to be a goal that comes up for you. I kind of think like out of the blue. So there's a lot that's happening. There's communication for sure that's coming your way. Even perhaps unexpected travel. If you weren't already planning to go somewhere, this is a time when many people do travel, at least in the northern hemisphere, but also there is something out of the norm that's indicated here. All right, in order to get to your new beginnings, all right, and you have to remember that in life you have many. You don't get to one spot and then stay there forever. But this is one that's been a long time coming, and it's coming much sooner. I feel that like you're already in it, in the progress of making it happen. And I've said this before, that I feel like when you get to November, that you're realizing that you can stop, you can breathe, and you've gotten through another leg of the journey. Okay? So this one it just feels, I almost want to say there's a bit of sadness attached to it. But I do feel that that's due to the loss of a relationship. It's not necessarily a permanent loss, but it feels that way. Okay? Now, one of the things that I've noticed here is that, you know, throughout the entire month of August, and this reading is taking us into September, we have seen that there's the whole death and rebirth process that's going on. It's still continuing, okay? There are things that just need to be done, not just in your own life, but in the lives of others. And, you know, there has been loss, there has been sorrow, there has been disappointment over all of it. But you really do get to move on, all right? There's a whole new territory that awaits you. And I strongly feel that it's coming by the next new moon. I am seeing this everywhere. And you know how I'm always talking that, you know, this new identity is evolving for you. I don't actually even see it here today, but that doesn't mean that it's not happening, because I feel that that's part of what you're creating. Okay, you're like taking the helm, like taking the wheel of your life, like taking your life back. It's, you know, this reading starts with power and you wanting to grab a hold of the power that propels you forward. And I really think that before this week is over, you've made progress with that, okay? You feel in control of something, but it's still taking you time. In other words, if you had a runaway vehicle and you were running along a side of it and you finally hopped in and, you know, grabbed hold of it. I guess I've seen, you know, Raiders of the Lost Ark too many times or something. But the thing of it is that you're regaining that control. You're taking the reins back where you can start to navigate the direction yourself. And it's not that you haven't, but there's been an area that's eluded you and you're getting there. I still say by the time you get to September the 20th, you've made some pretty good progress and you're realizing that you're on the right track and making the right choices, because choices are very prominent here today as well. And, you know, there are decisions that need to be made regarding relationships. Some, if they have not been eclipsed by the eclipses already, you may still be needing to remain in them, because I'm kind of seeing it more as, you know, calling a truce with the struggles. It may not be verbal, but right at the moment, see, there's still a couple things that, like, if you can't find your way out of it, and this doesn't have to be a relationship with a person, it could be with a thing, a situation, and you're trying to figure it out, and it's been a struggle. There is patience that's needed with that, all right? But I still think that you're going to find it. I think that there is new growth and beginnings that are coming in that you just don't see. So this is what, August into September. I want to say like the next 2 months, maybe more like September, October, you need to maintain that go with the flow attitude, okay? Because you still have, up until we get to the 20th of September, that little bit of turbulence going on in the background with Mercury retrograde. It tends to affect people more than some of the others, which are noticeable but not as much. We'll put it that way, okay? So you do achieve, I think you achieve your wishes by late in November, all right? Where not only do you feel like you can breathe, but you're pleased with yourself, with what you've accomplished. So you're more in tune with your intuition by then. And I just really think you're feeling proud. I cannot emphasize that enough. Life feels more organized. And, there's things that you not just struggled with, but they were almost like life's battles in the past. You have a new reality that's coming in and feeling more secure with things. So I like this. You and the universe are getting along much, much better. And whether it feels like it doesn't have to be financial, but life itself feels like a rags to riches story. That's the best way I think that I can put it. Like understanding and knowing and trusting in the abundance of the universe. It's an amazing thing, because by the time the year is over, your life is so much more balanced and so much more full. All right, boy, we wanted to do a weekly, but this week is telling you that you kind of have to continue forward, and that all of this is coming and it will happen. Like holding on very strongly to your beliefs is important, okay? So I think that there's still that, like when things have happened, just getting to this point and seeing everything that has been happening in your life and the lives of those around you due to the eclipses and other things that were taking place in the month of August. Like I said, I think you're still carrying some sorrow with you. There is sadness associated with it, because whenever anything ends and whatever is, over, and, there's a new beginning, it doesn't make it always easy, all right? But I'm telling you, you are, I think, more inspired for change, and there's a careful assessment of the status quo, because, I see a lot of looking back. And when you look back, which is probably important, okay, when you feel like, there are things that you want to change in your life, you have to look back at where you've been and realize how far you have come. And I think really only then can you manage to go forward, knowing what is no longer a part of your life, what you don't need, and carefully delegating your time and resources with success. So, there are cycles that we'll be completing within, I want to say the next couple of months, by mid-October, okay? And you are going, that's where it comes in. I really feel like that October time frame. And there's your new identity. There's you standing stronger on your own 2 feet and looking to the future. And my goodness, what the future, wow. See, the future holds so much more change, but it holds positive change. I almost want to say like blessings. I can't put it any other way. Sometimes we talk about it as if, we're headed for the promised land. It's just a much better place that you're finding in your life, like on your journey where you're headed. It's amazing. You'll be there by the time we have Saturn switching signs. right at the solstice in December. And I'll tell you what, this can mean many things, because when I look around, some of the key things that I see here this week pertain to relationships. All right? Relationships coming, relationships going, and your decisions regarding them. This is a very important time. So even though you might be thinking it's sort of, like anticlimactic, the eclipses are over, blah, 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 all that, it really is an important time frame, because you're moving away from all of that now. And like I said, you're rounding the corner, you're headed for home, and I think that home is at the equinox, and then it's like, okay, now what am I going to do? What am I going to create? You see, you get so far, and then you realize that you are in charge, and you can create what you want in your life. I'm liking that a lot. So, yeah. See, things are much more balanced by November. And you're not, like, it's not that you're suspending the fight, but that defensive position. Almost kind of like, okay, I can relax a little bit, like after November. I'm telling you, there's a big change that's coming in there. So you're looking for a breakthrough this week that brings you into the power that you need. I just don't think you really get going, because Mercury's not direct yet. All right. It's kind of always that, revisit, rethink, redo, blah, blah, blah. And like I said, Mercury's changing signs. So, you're going to go back and review a few more things before this week is over, after it goes into Leo. And that's okay. I think as long as you proceed with the knowing that you're getting to where you need to be, that you will be just fine. And this comes in cycles, as I said, but it's all cycles that are taking you forward. I just don't think that you can see it until you get to September the 20th. And I know I've said that so many times that you probably will not forget it, which is a good thing. But, when in doubt, keep that in mind. Like, okay, let me keep doing what I know I have to do, and working what I know I have to work on, because it's going to happen. I'm making progress. And each day I feel as though I am reclaiming more power. So continue on, my friends, because I really feel that you're headed in the direction you need to be going. I want to thank you very much for being here, and I'll see you again real soon. Take care.